Let's be honest, honing your cycling game can get pretty expensive. From carbon wheels to GPS-enabled bike computers to lightweight aero clothing. It soon adds up, leaving you broke and often questioning your life choices. But is it worth it? Let's take a look at turbo training. With advances in technology ushering in the era of smart training, it's all getting rather popular at the moment. But let's take a look at what you can get on a budget versus what you can get if you're willing to splash the cash. Now, what would you do if someone handed you £100? Blow it all on a night out? Buy 80 cans of Red Bull? What about spending it on the most entry-level turbo trainer out there, like this one? Now, when we say entry-level, we mean it. This hunk of hideous cheap metal is a magnetic wheel-on resistance trainer, which, as you can guess, means your wheel is mounted onto the resistance unit of the trainer, and we made Craig test it out.
I could barely hear myself think. This is a magnetic resistance trainer, and unlike your smart trainers, it doesn't have any sort of phone connectivity or intuitive design. It's all about the resistance it applies, the amount of force you put out. So the harder you ride, the harder it gets. Unless you're deaf, you can hear how loud this thing is. It's probably akin to some sort of turbojet flying overhead. And it feels like I'm pedaling in some sort of syrup. The resistance doesn't feel anything like you'd get on a road, no sort of momentum. In terms of cadence and feel, it's all over the place. Unlike your normal sort of smart trainers, this has got this beautiful little contraption, which isn't the most ergonomic or intuitive of designs. It's all very analog, which is great if you're a caveman, but for us living in the modern age, you probably want something a tiny bit better. You can't plug this into any software, so you're either staring at a wall or you're watching reruns of your favourite Coronation Street episode. Just to give you an insight into the noise, we'll crank it up. In fact, you know what? There's only one place this thing deserves to be: in the trash.
So that's one end of the market, but what about the premium end? Well, for £1,000, you could blow it all on a pretty swanky night out or buy 800 cans of Red Bull. But what about putting it towards the ultimate turbo training setup? Alright, we'll admit, this particular setup is a little bit more than £1,000, but we're cyclists, and just like our Strava rides, we need round numbers. Anyway, at this level, things start getting very cool indeed. This is the top of the range offering from Wahoo, the new and improved Wahoo KICKR, a direct drive trainer, that is, a trainer where you remove the rear wheel and mount the bike directly onto the trainer, with the latest in smart technology, which means your favourite training apps like Zwift and TrainerRoad will control the resistance and feel of the ride for you, for an experience that's as close as possible to outdoor riding as you're ever going to find from the confines of your spare room. To top it off, this bad boy can accurately replicate gradient changes and even headwinds. Yes, really headwinds. Now this opens up a whole world of possibilities when it comes to indoor training, and we caught up with Wahoo to tell us about it. Okay, Louis, so this is the Wahoo KICKR. This is a pretty cool setup. Do you want to talk us through it then?
So this KICKR, first of all, the most significant feature about it is that it's virtually silent. So it makes between 50 and 60 decibels, and nearly all of that is generated from the actual drivetrain. So what we've done is used a ribbed belt rather than a tooth belt, changed the pulley system, and it has completely cut out the high-pitched whine that some of the earlier
it's so ridiculously quiet.
Almost no noise at all.
Like compared to like a cheap turbo, this is
exactly
outrageous.
That sort of high-pitched whine or the noise of a jet engine that some of them might make.
Yeah.
That's completely gone. So what that does is allow people to train indoors in apartments and areas where they need to keep the noise down, and waking kids up and keeping other halves happy. All those things are now sort of eradicated. Product.
Yeah, so this is the climb on the front, and this obviously simulates, well, changes in incline as you're riding.
It simulates gradient, exactly. So the way that it works is it's paired to the KICKR at the back here, and as the KICKR gets signals from the software, so right now we're running Zwift, as it gets signals from the software, it creates a resistance, which is going to feel in his legs as he goes up the hill. It's going to send that resistance to the climb, which turns it into a gradient. So this will simulate a decline of minus 10% and a maximum incline of 20%, which is pretty substantial.
And this is the only unit that does that that's available on the market?
There is nothing else that works like this.
That's really cool, isn't it? And what's the maximum incline then that this thing can go up?
So the maximum incline is 20%.
Yeah.
That's pretty reasonable. And that's another reason why it's significant is there's not really anywhere in the UK, for example, where you can actually ride any kind of incline like that for a long period of time. We don't have the essence.
Yeah, so Craig is currently riding on Zwift with the Climb, and you're actually going up a climb at the moment, aren't you, Craig? And yeah, you can see that the climb is ever so slightly raised. I guess it's not that
So
steep,
yeah, we
but-
can see there's a notch in the middle here which represents the neutral position.
Yeah.
So at the moment you're seeing a gradient of 9%, and that's represented there.
So that's obviously making things really realistic. And then Louis, what's this unit we have at the front here?
So the next thing we've got now is the new Kicker Headwind. So this
Yeah.
is the world's first Bluetooth smart fan.
When you're using the Headwind with the training apps, how does it work with the apps, for example?
So again, as he increases his speed here, it's going to change the speed on the fan. It
Yeah.
can simulate speeds of up to 50 k's an hour.
So as well as kind of keeping you cool during your turbo sessions, it's also designed to mimic sort of the wind resistance that you feel outside. On
exactly.
The road.
It is supposed to make the whole experience more immersive. I mean, all of these products have a real training advantage, but another advantage is being more immersive means you spend more time in the saddle, which means ultimately you do more training.
So we've got the bike, we've got the Climb, we've now got headwind conditions. What is next, Louis? What is the next frontier of indoor training?
We're looking at a few things at the moment, but to be honest, we think that this is the ultimate indoor training package. We're here to own indoor training. Like I said, we started direct drive smart training. We've started the world's first Bluetooth smart fan, the world's first Climb device. I think we're pretty happy that we've achieved the best.
Yeah, absolutely. All in all, let's not get carried away. Of course, you will be able to get some half-decent training in on even the most budget of turbo trainers. The downsides are that the experience is worlds away to the feeling you get out on the road. You'll have your neighbours trying to break your door down thanks to the jet engine levels of noise it produces. And although you can rely on speed data to use it with training apps, you'll need to adjust the resistance levels yourself with clunky, difficult to use adjustment units. Now, if you want something that will really take your indoor training to that next level, so you don't miss out on valuable training during the long winter months, or even when you push for time during the summer, then setups like Wahoo's Kicker, Climb, and the Headwind really do fit the bill. Of course, there's a proper investment on your part required, but the experience speaks for itself, and who knows, before you know it, you may even have a preference for indoor riding over outdoor riding. Imagine that.